Hello and welcome to the NIFSA Open Doors Film Panel Series. I'm Professor Jeffrey Wisotsky and we're coming to you live from the studios of Bronx Community College. This is a program for film students around New York State and produced entirely by students in the BCC Media and Digital Film Club. 2016 has been New York's busiest year on record with regards to film and television production. Thanks to Governor Cuomo's tax credit program, over 60 television shows have shot in the state this year, including the critically acclaimed series Power, which airs on the Starz network. Courtney A. Kemp is the series creator and showrunner. Under her leadership, the show doubled viewership from its premiere episode to its season 1 finale and attracted the largest African-American audience of any scripted premium series in almost a decade. Now, filming its 4th season, Power has become the most watched Starz original series ever. Prior to Miss Kemp's success with Power, she was a writer and supervising producer on the Emmy-nominated CBS series The Good Wife, and also worked on ABC's Eli Stone and Fox's The Bernie Mac Show. Ebony Magazine named her as one of their Power 100 honorees in 2015, and Marie Claire magazine lists her as one of the 50 most influential women in America. We are incredibly honored to have her with us today in the studio. Welcome, Courtney.
Glad to be here. When you say all that stuff, it sounds really impressive.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm a writer in sweatpants most of the time.
That's cool. Well, I'm one of your biggest fans. I watched all 3 seasons with my son, Jake. And our students in the audience and everyone watching the program online, they want to know your path to power. They want to know the story on how you got started. What was the entry point for you, and what were some of your first jobs?
Well, I actually started out as an English major in college and really wanted to write for a living. I'd always written short stories. I'd always been creative. But I didn't know how I was going to make a living writing. I think it still confounds people to this day. So I started out English major, then I went to graduate school for English literature, and I got my master's, and I really didn't like all the isolation that graduate school required. I wanted to be around people. So I left graduate school and went to become a journalist. And while I was a journalist, I wrote an article about interracial dating that 2 television writers, 2 comedy writers, Mike Chesler and Chris Alberghini, who now run a show called Awkward on MTV. But at the time, those 2 guys wanted to make my article into a TV show. What? I'd never heard of this. I was literally on my boss's desk going, Marty Beiser's office. I was working at GQ as an assistant at the time. And I ended up creating a show with these guys. It didn't go anywhere. Never happened. But I got the bug. Then I was like, oh, this is what I meant to do. It required me to move across the country. It required me to uproot my life. It required me to commit fully to being a television writer and leave everything that I knew behind. But if this is what you want, that's what you have to do.
I want to bring up Bernie Mac. You were a staff writer on the Bernie Mac Show. Did you write a spec script for the show? And do you recommend that our film students that want to become writers write spec scripts for TV series that they enjoy watching?
Absolutely, 100%. I did write a spec Bernie Mac, and I got hired. The business has changed a lot, and the focus on spec scripts has become less. People are always now, write a pilot, write a pilot, write a pilot. I do not read pilots of people under a certain level. If you're coming to apply to be a staff writer on my show, I don't read your pilot. I don't care. I'll tell you why I don't read your pilot. I don't read your pilot for 2 reasons. Number one, the job I'm hiring you for is to write episodes of Power. So I actually need to know if you can imitate a voice of a show that exists. Not Power. I don't read Power specs for another reason. But if you write a spec Good Wife, for example, and I read your spec Good Wife and I see